Everyone has their demons, everyone sins, and for every sin comes a judgment. Judgment can come at you when you least expect it, and it comes from those you never thought would judge you. If there is two grinning white-colored characters that fits this analogy best, who better than SANS and Pablo, aka the judge, to represent such a theme? But who fits the quota to its fullest extent? Today, we find that out. Today, we rewind Rumble. SANS, long time no see. Well, at least for Cartoon Fight Club standards. Today, however, is a special case. This is the first and last SANS Rewind Rumble episode, and since this is the only one, I had to save the match for the one most fitting. SANS versus the Judge. To keep mentions of SANS brief, SANS is a telekinetic skeleton who has knowledge about the concept of reset. He also knows about turn-based concepts, even attacking on the player's turn. He can be argued to be somewhat depressed due to knowing about the resets, also knowing about other timelines. But even with depression due to timeline and reset knowledge, SANS does his best to keep a smile and is loaded with puns and bones. But his competition today, that's a bit of a different story. Before we get to the Judge, I think it's fair to educate you on the world of Off, both as a game and a fictional universe. As a game, Off is an indie RPG created by Mortis Ghost, all the way back in 2008, which means this thing is roughly a decade old. Personally, that's kinda crazy to think about. 2008 feels like yesterday to me, but I guess time flies. Anyway, the Off universe is a collection of zones that are embodied throughout the nothingness. The nothingness is the main way to travel from zone to zone. But here's the kicker. The entire universe is reliant on an off switch. If you turn this thing off, well, everyone and everything goes off with it. This can be very dangerous when your universe is filled with insane villains desperate enough to flip the switch for various reasons. So what can you as the player do about it? Well, at this point you don't exist yet. Luckily enough, your son Hugo created you. Yes, it sounds crazy that the child creates the parent, but I don't know, I guess that's how this universe works. The birds and the bees probably don't apply in this universe. Or maybe they do, but let's do our best to keep this video monetized. To get back on track, Hugo is a deceased child with a strong enough will who needed new parents and somewhat became sort of a creator god. So he created the Batter to be his father and the Queen to be his mother. The Batter also being the main playable character. It's implied that the Queen created the son in order to rebuild a better world for her son. Get it? Creating a son for the son? While the Batter was somewhat of a deadbeat dad who didn't really care for his son and wasn't really around for him. Lacking a role model of a father figure, Hugo became inspired to leave his bedroom and make new friends, and he befriends 3 survivors in the world of Off. The 3 creatures promise to work with his mother the Queen to build an even greater world for Hugo. At first things are sorta dandy, but over time, like any society, things get corrupt, and the political corruption throughout each zone made the Queen very worried for Hugo, because if Hugo is harmed, so is the fate of the universe. This forces the Queen to lock up Hugo, and she sends armies to enforce harsh ruling to keep everyone at bay. This wasn't a good idea, and the Batter knew that he had to do something to fix the situation the correct way. The Batter is put in a position where he is a static, powerful entity determined to purify all the zones of Off. The Queen is the leader of the Guardians of the Zones and protector of Hugo. So both parents are kinda at strife, but I guess opposites attract. Love can be a tricky thing, especially in desperate times. Okay, we're over 4 minutes into the video. What does any of this have to do with a talking cat named Pablo? Well, here's the thing, it has a lot to do with a talking cat named Pablo. When you start off in Zone 0, you are greeted by the Judge. The Judge takes no side during good portions of the game, but he occasionally aids the player by giving them hints. At the very least, Pablo is a talking cat who also dislikes the Queen and her governing styles. It's also why he created his own zone, Zone 0. His interests with directly taking sides is showcased later in the game, but I'll save that for the later part of the video. For now, because you have the basic idea of what the Off universe is like and the first impression / early relationship with few of the characters, it is time I let you know what this cat can actually do. Right off the bat, The judge can do many things. He can survive without oxygen and knows many competences. Competences are off's equivalents to special attacks, spells, etc. For Pablo, these include the conniving aneurysm, malignant aneurysm, critical aneurysm, aneurysm rupture, unknown sclerosis, atypical sclerosis, purulent sclerosis, and staggering sclerosis. The aneurysm competences are impact-based that range from low to high impact. The sclerosis competences are special attacks. Unknown sclerosis inflicts muteness, atypical sclerosis inflicts blindness, purulent sclerosis inflicts poison, and staggering sclerosis inflicts palsy. The most dangerous aspect about the judge is that he has a hit accuracy rate of 100%. So every time it's his turn to attack, his attack can never be dodged, and something damaging is going to happen to you after each turn is complete. Luckily for SANS, he has fourth wall awareness, so he knows to attack even if it's your turn to fight. It's possible he can continuously break up the judge's turn, so things are going to get interesting soon. Anyway, at the end of the game, before the batter can flip the switch found at the very end of the level, the room, the judge steps in and requests the player's assistance in stopping the batter. The cat's exact motivation for this change of heart is somewhat unknown, although the reversal may stem from a deeply emotional reaction to the unavoidable deaths of Hugo and the Queen moments ago within the game. If the player denies the request, the batter will face the judge in battle. Upon the judge's defeat, the batter is free to proceed to the switch and flip it into the off position. Flicking this will fade the screen to black, followed by a message box informing the player that the switch is now on off. After this, the credits roll. If the player accepts the request, they will control the judge in a battle against the batter, who will transform into a specter-like monster. If he is defeated, the game ends. The judge is aware that there is no way to reverse the actions of the batter and the player made, but prefers this over the batter finishing his mission. He is then seen traversing the railway of the Purified Zone 1. Overall, the judge is a talking, well-spoken cat assigned as the batter's guardian at the beginning of the game. The judge at first believes the batter's mission to be futile, but follows him around in various zones, offering advice or help. But now, instead of assisting a batter, he has to face a skeleton. And now, let's set ourselves a circumstance. This battle is going to take place in the underground with no preparation. Once that circumstance bar is finally loaded, it's time to rewind rumble. Hopefully you enjoyed that animation, and if you did, super special thanks to Team Animation Rewind's Origin Animations. Origin Animations also created the custom sprites for the judge, and be sure to check out the links down below for the music, the research/notes, and calculations. Thanks, and enjoy the post-analysis. I guess you can say SANS batted 3 strikes and struck out this fight, resulting in him turning off. Nope, that's poor taste. Well, anyway, Pablo wins, and it's probably better for SANS this way. SANS isn't making a return on Rewind Rumble. Cartoon Fight Club is a different story. SANS probably will never ever retire from that series. He is the flagship mascot of CFC. More importantly, I need to explain to you why the judge can beat SANS in a fight. It all comes down to durability, stamina, and speed. SANS is fast, so fast he can scale to Frisk. This makes him at least massively hypersonic plus, likely much higher as Frisk is able to dodge attacks such as lightning bolts from Vulcan. Eventually, the speed of Frisk gets so high to even becoming immeasurable with immense amounts of determination. The judge can directly scale to the batter, who can dodge multiple light-based attacks, and the batter has flown to the sun at roughly 360 times the speed of light as calculated by the Perpetual. The Perpetual calculated that the mass of the sun in the off-universe is 1.989 E plus 30 kg. The batter is seeking out the Queen due to her being perceived as responsible for the events of the game, and the Queen lies within the sun, hence why she's able to send energy of the sun from her location to the Guardians. This leads the batter to simply going there. The calculated distance is set at roughly 149,598,000,000, and that's in meters. The batter traveled this distance in 1.38 seconds, making him roughly 361.5 times the speed of light. The judge can directly scale to this. This is a problem for SANS because the judge's competence accuracy is 100%. So every time the judge attacks, he is guaranteed to land a hit. I know that sounds like a no limits fallacy, but technically it's not a no limits fallacy because there is a theoretical way to dodge an attack from the judge in a crossover battle sense. These competence attacks work somewhat like a homing missile does, so if you're a character who is faster than the attack speed, in theory, you can outrun the attack before it hits you, until the energy is drained. These attacks don't have infinite energy. Technically, the attack doesn't miss, but when it finally reaches you, it has no attack points left, does no damage since the energy is drained. So at first, SANS will be somewhat safe. The problem comes along when we factor in stamina. Eventually, SANS is going to grow tired, and we all know it only takes one hit to beat SANS. The judge, on the other hand, has at least star-level durability as he was able to trade blows with the batter and scale directly off of the batter. The judge has such a durability edge that he doesn't need to expose all of his energy during the fight, so he doesn't have to go as fast as SANS has to go. This also gives the judge a stamina edge. So while speed may be up for grabs, at least at first, since scaling to an immeasurable Frisk is tricky, once you factor in stamina and durability, SANS is eventually going to have a bad time, making the winner of this Rumble the judge. Now, SANS isn't making a return to Rewind Rumble, but if you want to see a rematch on Cartoon Fight Club, in fact, an Off vs Undertale Total War, all you have to do is like this video. If this video gets 10,000 likes, such a Total War on the Cartoon Fight Club series will be put into production. Don't forget to comment down your own ideas, and stay tuned as the next fighters are going to be revealed on the next episode of Rewind Rumble. For next time, we have a back-to-back Dante battle. You're getting 2 Dante fights for the price of 1, though they will be separate uploads. You're getting Dante vs Hellboy and Dante vs Kratos. Make sure you're subscribed to stay notified. I'm Animation Rewind, and I'll fast forward to you later.